Hello. Guess who's back? I hope you missed me because I missed you all. Tonight we are going to have a good show and some fun. You're watching Creative Talks with Scorpio Chronicles. Good evening. Thank you for joining me. I know it has been a minute since I have actually, spoken to y'all or had the creative talks. I just took a small little break in September. Everything that was going on with the whole being sick situation. So just had to also get some rest for myself and some mental rest for me. But we're back and we have a good show for you tonight. I have a very special guest. She is a cosplayer, um, a mom, a working mom, and a very good cosplayer. Did I say cosplayer? Yeah, she's a cosplayer. Cosplay. Y'all know I have a heart for cosplayers. Love cosplays. I'm an educator as much as I can on cosplay. But we're gonna go ahead and bring her in. Dark Dove, how are you, my love? How are you doing?
I'm fine. I brought my tea.
You got your tea. I got my ginger ale. There you go. That's
We're
that's
gonna
about
call it
as
ginger ale.
yeah. That's about as close to wine as I'm gonna get right about now because I don't have none here in the house. So it's about as close.
I,
It's
I
dark
feel
like it.
that. I
No,
feel.
it's
I
dark like
totally
it. But
agree.
hey, no,
We're
you
gonna
can't do it
pretend.
right.
We're gonna pretend.
And enjoy. But yes, I am glad to have you tonight. We were supposed to have done this last month, but of course, school was start. I know, no, in August we were supposed to have did this in August, but school was starting for you,
Yeah.
and you have kids, and I understand that whole situation. I'm like, look, I don't want to interfere with that. You have kids, so that's when I decided to put the show to a hold. I'm like, I could use a break myself. I was
And then your
tired.
mom was sick
And
too.
then my mom ended up catching COVID, and I'm just like, that was unexpected.
Yeah.
For people like us who stay away from people, she ends up still catching it. But I'm grateful. My mom is actually doing much better. She's very well. She actually just went back to work recently, so and everything is good, and everything's good in the household. So cannot complain. Y'all, please stay away from anyone that has COVID. Wear your mask. That thing was a beast. It was the devil itself. I'm not even playing with you, but yeah. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it and ask some questions, Dark Dove. So my questions are pretty deep, but I'm sure you're not afraid. I'm sure you got this. You're a
That's ready.
strong, strong woman, strong women's, so we ain't worried about it at all. So just to begin and start off, okay. I normally ask this question because everyone has different meaning. Cosplay. What does that mean to you?
For me, it's almost like a freeing experience. It's a way where if you can't express yourself in any other way, in a creative way, because people are like, oh, I wish I could sing, I wish I could write, I wish I could dance. Cosplay, you don't really have to have the set skill for it yet. It's
Mhm.
something that you can easily learn along the way, because you could start off as a closet cosplay, which is basically taking items of clothing from your closet and just trying to replicate one of your favorite characters,
Mhm.
and you could go on from there. So for me, it's just like more of this freeing creative experience where you don't have to be locked in this whole world where you have to be this, you have to be
Mhm.
perfect for that, you have to be skillful for that. It's something that you can learn
Mhm.
and as you grow, because like singing, there's some people who are just born to sing.
Correct.
They're just born to sing. It's
Yeah.
like God was like, boom, you
Yeah.
are a singer. And then
Oh
some
yeah.
people who can learn to sing, but they can never reach that point of someone who is just born with that. But
That's
this
true.
is not that type of thing. This is something that you don't really have to be born into it.
Mhm.
You don't even have to know that much about these characters. You could just put on the TV one day, be like, oh, I this is a really cool character, and then go from there. you
Yes.
know, and that's what I like about it because it's not for me, not for everybody. It's not
Mhm.
caging. It's something that's just it's a freelance thing. It's free roam.
Yeah.
Like you can go wild at it, like, and you don't have to. Some people are into the whole thing where you have to you look exactly like the character. You have, like, no, like,
It's
I'm
okay
not.
to put your own twist to it, y'all. You
And
don't
that's
have
what
to
I
do.
usually do. I usually try to do, if it's not in the outfit
Mhm.
or in the hair or in the makeup, it's in the way I act.
Yeah.
I always try to put something with myself into it. And that's why I like cosplay, because I feel like it's such a freeing thing. Like, it's such
Oh,
a and it should be a
yes.
carefree thing. Some people take it way too seriously. Even if it's something that you do for work, even
Yeah.
you shouldn't take it too seriously. Why? Because what happens when you say something too seriously? You get stressed.
Yeah.
What happens when you get stressed? You don't want to do it no more. It's no fun no more. I get stressed sometimes, and that's why I have to take a break. But hold on, let me take
Yeah.
a step back. But that's what it means to me. It's something that I go to
Hmm.
be creative, to feel more of myself, and
Hmm.
to feel free to be myself.
Oh wow. So that explains it. That what it means is some people do take that very seriously. I've seen some competitions where people actually ready to get into a fist fight. It's like, look, it's not that deep. Just have fun and enjoy. you know, it,
Espe- Especially with people who only cosplay one character.
yeah.
I see that so many times where they're like, oh no, that's my character.
You didn't
Are you
create that
Stan
character.
Lee? Are you like, if you're not Stan Lee or any of those creator who created the character, it's not yours.
Oh my
like,
goodness.
like, it's not yours. Like, you don't have a claim to that. Just because it's
Wow.
something that you do, you don't own it.
That.
And trust me, you can't afford to own
Oh
it.
no, Lord. And some people actually go out of the way and spend an abundance amount of money and buying outfits. When I'm just like, you know what, a lot of the stuff you can find at your local Goodwill or Salvation Army, or in a look in your closet somewhere, some stuff that you haven't finished fixing that pipe in the bathroom. We got some
It's
stuff in
true.
there. So those
There
things, yeah.
is there and like I said, I've had friends in cosplay before I started cosplaying, but being more in the world now, because I am a
Mhm.
cosplayer, I see a lot more of that competition, or that, you know, looking down on people because, they brought their costume versus
Yeah.
making it themselves. Not everybody, because
Correct.
I could barely sew a button on. I could sew it on, but it ain't gonna be perfect. I could sew like a hem or something, but for me to make a whole dress, no, I cannot
Wow.
do that. I can't do that. So what am I supposed to do?
I mean,
And it costs
man, that's
it costs a
crazy.
lot, and it costs a lot to commission these outfits too, because it takes a
Hmm.
lot of time. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work to do these things, and I give it up to those. I wish I could,
Yeah.
because if I could, there's a fabric store not far from me.
Hmm.
I would have like yards and yards of fabric, and I would just be sewing all day long, and I would be
Get
selling it too.
Look, get you some little cheap fabric and just practice. You'll be shocked how quick you would jump on that.
Well, I mean, that's why I started doing my little, different
Yeah.
creative stuff, trying to do different stuff. But like I said, especially the past 2 months,
Hmm.
um, where I went to an event called Lightbenders, and I met
Yeah.
a group of cosplayers that they make all their stuff.
Hmm.
They make it from scratch, everything. And if you saw the picture with Carnage,
Yes, I did see.
that
Yes,
man,
those were
Fabian,
some.
made that himself
Oh
from
my
scratch.
lord.
I'm like, I need to be on your level.
Yeah, like seriously.
But and these people, you know what they do? They go
Mhm.
to Goodwill, Dollar
Yeah.
Tree, junkyards, and they don't buy all these
Mhm.
expensive things. Like, maybe their equipment is expensive, but like you know the stuff that they use,
Yeah.
they have such a wild imagination that they could literally walk into a Dollar Tree and come out with all the stuff and create this thing. Like, what? It's
Wow.
it's insane. It's insane. And that's why I said, like, they don't look down on nobody.
Yeah.
Uh, and they
Uh-huh.
looked at my black cat. He was like, "Oh, you look awesome." I was like,
Yeah.
"Don't be
You
lying to me."
you all look, you all have to go to her Instagram. It's at darkdove82 and look at her black cat outfit that she has. That one, and you got to see the, was that Venom, the female Venom that you did?
Well, it was black cat venomized.
Black cat Venomized. I
Yes.
love the way you did that makeup with the, and she even shows how she made it a little bit in there. So make sure y'all go give her a follow on that. Now, this is where we're going to a little bit of making you think a little. Okay, now, did you choose cosplay or did cosplay choose you?
I think cosplay chose me,
Hmm.
but I wasn't listening for a long time. Because ever since I was a kid, I always, you're going to hear this a lot from a lot of cosplayers. Oh, I've been dressing up. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. Most of them are full of it. No, you weren't. You getting into a Halloween costume is not the
No, that's
same.
not cosplay.
That's not the same as cosplaying. When I
That's not.
tell you, I used to have my mother make me like costumes just for me to play. That's a cosplayer. Like my mom was like, "This girl, like really." I'm like, "Mom, I want to be a princess today. I
Yeah,
want you to
Lord.
make me a princess." And she's like, "What do you make me a princess?" Like, so she would like grab stuff and sew
Hmm.
things up, and bam, I'm a princess. I wanted to be a bunny. I put that picture up a while ago. I was like a pink bunny. My mom literally made that outfit for me.
Wow.
Like my mom was like, "Yo, you drove me crazy," but like she loved that I was so like into it. Like I was like, "Mom, I want
Yeah,
to be this, I want to be that." Like like I wanted to be a hobo, but I wanted to be a real hobo. So my mom took clothes and like cut them
just
up
put
and
them
put
together. Oh
patches.
my goodness.
Yeah, and she made me the little like the little
Oh,
thing, and I
that is
was just
neat.
yeah. She got the hat, everything. I was a hobo
Oh,
because my
please.
mom used to. Because remember with those clown statues,
Yeah.
that were like a big thing, like in the 80s and early 90s. My
Everybody
mom had
collect those.
so many of those. My mom has
Yeah.
so many of them, and I got obsessed with them for a costume. And my mom, I want to be one like for Halloween, but like I want a real one. I don't want to go to the store and buy one. So my mom made one for me.
Oh, that
So
was neat.
that's why it's like, but that was me thinking just me just being a kid, wanted to play, and then but it continued on into my adulthood that
Mm.
even when I bought my costumes, I always did something to change it up,
Mm-mm.
or add something to it or whatever. And then when I had my kids, I went in. My son, my oldest son, he was but Jack Sparrow for his first Halloween.
Oh,
He wasn't even 1 years old. There's no Jack Sparrow costume for a
a
like
1 year
a
old.
He
No.
wasn't even one yet. He wasn't even one. He was like 9 months. And I
Oh
went
my
and I
God.
bought the hat with the wig and I sewed it up and I stuffed it in and I put it and he never took it off. Then on his
Oh
second
my
Halloween,
goodness.
I made him Edward Scissorhands and he won a contest. And I made the whole costume myself. And you know who? And we actually went to a Wicked, the musical
Uh huh.
Wicked Day, because Wicked, when it first came out, was around Halloween.
Hmm.
So every year they would do Wicked Day, which was like a celebration for their anniversary plus
Yeah.
a Halloween party. So I took him there, and I was pregnant with my second one. So I'll be out here, and like I got a wig, I cut it up, I did him with when he was in the button down and
Yeah.
he had the suspenders. I cut the
Yes.
suspenders and I put the little safety pins and I made him gloves with little like scissors, and I would watch the movie every day when I was doing the costume, and my son would sit next to me, almost 2 years old, would sit next to me and watch it. And my, oh, papi, look, that's what you're gonna be for Halloween. And when I put the costume on my son and I took him outside, and they were like, "Oh, Edward Scissorhands." He went.
Oh my goodness.
I was like,
Please tell me
That's,
you. Please tell
"This
me
is
you
my
have took.
child."
Please
I
tell
was
me
like,
you have pictures.
man, I got them somewhere. I still can't find them. I told my sisters that you need to go into your computer and find my pictures of my baby because
Please, and,
yo,
and
we
post
couldn't
those.
we couldn't walk up a block without people stopping us, and he was just like doing the whole thing. I'm like, so I
Oh
was like,
my
Cosplay
goodness.
chose me because my child was born into it. So we go to the event, and it was the director, the creator of the play,
Oh
plus
wow.
Bette Midler was there.
Someone just popped up and said, "That's my mom."
That's my baby. Hi, baby.
How are you? Thank you for joining us.
That's my
Is that hold
littlest
on?
one.
Is this the one that was dressed up as Edward? So it's not the one that's dressed up as
No,
Edward
that's the one
today.
that was in my belly when
Okay.
that was the one in my belly. But that one right there, now
Oh
he
wow.
gets into it. Like he wants
Oh, that's awesome.
that's
That
yeah,
is
my kids.
awesome. Because I was gonna ask, are your kids getting into it now? But now I
Well,
see.
my oldest, he's 15. So like he's still like, okay, mom, what are we dressing up for Halloween as? What are we doing? Where are we going? What's happening?
Mhm.
But like he's more reserved. The little one will go out and like pose with me and do all that crazy nonsense. But
Oh, that's fun.
the big one's more like I'm more cooler than that. Like you could see me from afar. We're
Yeah.
gonna match. We're gonna do all that. But I'm not gonna be all posing for you.
We go we go through those phases. I don't know why, but we all of us went through that phase. Like, oh, mom, me, I don't think I went through that phase. I was like, come on, mom, let's go. Come on, mom, let's go. I drug her with me, so I don't think I ever went through that phase.
I was still like, okay, guys, the kids are my kids now. They're both in their teenagers. They're like, what are we doing
Hmm.
for Halloween? Are we going trick or treating? Are we going to a party? What are we doing? I'm like, I don't know yet.
You don't know. You got to be safe. There's still a pandemic going on.
I was gonna say, so we might. Our church is doing like one of those
Hmm.
trunk and treat things, so we might
Yeah.
do that
Oh,
because
yeah.
they just let me tell you something. For the last couple of years, we've been like besides last year we
Hmm.
went to like a parade and we did the purge. So we all had like my oldest wanted to
Uh
be a plague doctor purge, so I got him the plague doctor thing, and
huh.
and then me and my little one we had the actual light up purge mask,
Uh huh.
and then like 2 years before the pandemic happened, we did um we did Naruto, and
Okay. Yeah.
I made everybody's costumes, and then before that we did Assassin's Creed. So we all did Assassins, and then I did the we did zombie Harry Potter, like the undead Harry Potter. So
Now,
like
hold on. Now, when you say you made these costumes, are this something like stuff that you grabbed and put together, and
yeah,
or
most of it is like it was like cosplay. Like I would buy like articles of clothing that
Mhm.
match what they were, and then like cut them up, or did makeup and all that stuff. But
Oh wow.
the Assassin's Creed, I bought those costumes because those that's just on a whole other level. But that was a big hit because we were each a different assassin.
Oh
So
wow.
so
Oh,
like
that was.
I was Ezio, my oldest was Atiel, and then
Mhm.
the little one was Connor. So we all had different outfits. So
That just sounds like straight up fun. Straight up fun. Now, when it comes to cosplay, what would you say your level of devotion is cosplay from 1 to 10? 10 being the highest, one being the maybe sometimes I'll do it if I don't.
I guess it will depend on my schedule because
True.
I don't, unlike some people, it's not my source of income, it's not my
Hmm.
job. So I don't feel like I have to stop everything and do my cosplay,
Hmm.
But it has increased in my importance and my priorities
Hmm.
since I started. So because I've only been doing this for a year,
Oh
and people were
wow.
like, "Yeah, August made a year."
You sure?
Yeah,
You don't look
that's what
like you've been doing it just for a year.
that's what
If
people
you
say.
if you all see some of her cosplay, you'll look at it and say, "No way, this is you've been doing this for a while. You've been dressed up since you was a kid." That no,
Well, seriously, that's why I say
yeah,
it's cosplaying seriously. It's only been a year. So that's why I tell people it's like I've been doing this for a long time and I've been helping
Mhm.
other people do their costumes and stuff like that. But for myself to as a cosplayer,
Mhm.
I've been a cosplayer, an official cosplayer for a year, for just over a year. So when I first started it, it was during the pandemic.
Mm.
I guess it was around like April of the pandemic where we were in lockdown,
Mhm.
and I was going stir crazy mad at home. And I started
Yeah.
seeing, because I follow cosplayers. Like I said, I was
Mhm.
friends with a bunch of them before, and I
Yeah.
started seeing them doing like they were doing like a challenge, like a cosplay, like just
Oh,
grab what's in
okay.
your
Yeah.
closet. And I was like, you know what? Why not? So I pulled out I did a craft
Mhm.
costume years ago.
Uh huh.
So I pulled out that outfit because I literally bought the pieces of clothing. Like I put it together myself. So
Yeah.
I pulled that and left my hair curly because I didn't. I was like, I don't need a wig for that. So and I took pictures in that costume and I posted them up. And then all of a sudden, people started liking it. And then Muses of Cosplay
Mhm.
reposted it. So they were the first cosplay page
Oh,
to
the
repost
repost.
it.
Oh yeah.
So I was like,
Thank you.
I didn't tag it or any. I didn't tag them or
Yeah.
anything. And he was like, no, like I loved it. I loved it. You looked exactly like one of the characters, and you just threw it together. Like that's awesome. I was like, oh okay. So then I did Dorothy because I had
Mhm.
a dress that looks like Dorothy. So I did a little Dorothy thing, and then
Mhm.
he reposted that, and then I put a picture of when I did a domino for a
Mm.
party, and again clothes that I had in my closet.
Mhm.
I just bought the guns. That was it. And I did my makeup. And it was for a Marvel party. And I went to it was just like a random party. I think when the Avengers movie came out.
Mhm.
So they just had like a opening night type of party.
Mhm.
So and then the Deadpool movie had came out not too long ago from then. So I did Domino. And and I posted that up and he posted that. I was like, yo, you just keep posting on my stuff. He goes, you got really good stuff. He's like, you should really do it more. I'm like, oh yeah. So I was like, you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
So I was
I
like, why not?
say, I say, continue to do more.
Yeah.
You're awesome at it. You know, pretty much every cosplayer that I've had. I just recently had when the show started, I had SJ and MG, Mutant Glue and SJ cosplay.
Yeah.
They're awesome at it. So that's every cosplayer that I've actually spoke with and kind of like talked to, and we follow each other. I see good stuff, and I'm just like, no, I can't cosplay. I'm like, I
That's
can't cosplay.
that's what I thought. I was like, I can't do this. Like you see
I
these
was
people,
like,
and then all of
mm,
a sudden I got all these like people liking me and like, oh, do it, do it, do it. So I was like, you know what? Screw it, I'll do it. And then but then it was like, what do I do? Who
yeah,
do I do? Oh my gosh. And then Black Cat was just like the go to for me. I was like, I've always wanted to cosplay her, I always wanted to do a costume,
mhm,
but I never felt too comfortable to do it. But I was like, you know what? Like she's like me. Like she's that person where like she's very faithful, she's very loyal, but then she doesn't take no mess and she does what she wants
mhm.
to do, you know?
Hey,
And, and I was like, you know what? Just do it, girl. So then I was looking for the costume and I was just like, these are kind of funky. I don't like these because I'm not big on the fur.
yeah, yeah,
Like
and she does have the fur on her like ankles and stuff like that.
but that's like the old one. That's like
Yeah,
the original, and I'm like, I'm not really big on that. Like when women like do it themselves, it looks
hmm,
amazing. It
yeah,
looks amazing. But then when you buy it from somewhere, it's all like it looks like
it doesn't
a
fit
dead
right.
muppet. It looks like
Oh,
a dead muppet on you or stuff.
oh,
Like it's like yeah, it's like the it's not as
I don't
fluffy. It's
like that
kind of
muffet hair.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's not fluffy. It's not like you know. So it's like, no, I'm not doing that. So
No, mm-mm.
I just put it together myself. I bought the
Yeah,
jumpsuit, I bought the corset, I got the wig, I got the mask, and I was like, let's go. And I did it, and she just blew me up. Like
and it
everybody was like,
is amazing. Like I said, once again, go to her Instagram. I've even posted pictures when I announced this show. She has pictures in there. She looks amazing as Black Cat, and she even did Black Cat Venomized, which I love the whole Venomized thing. I'm a
And that
big
was
Venom
my up.
fan.
That was my updated version. Because when I
Oh my
first did,
goodness.
the first time I did her, I
Mhm.
drew the mask and I did the like the veins.
Oh wow.
Like I did it in a way where it looked that the veins made the mask, but I
Oh.
drew it because I was at home. But because I was going to do it 2 shoots on Friday, I didn't want
Mhm.
to put too much black makeup because I was doing Raven afterwards, and that was going to be a
Okay.
pain to have to wipe all that off. So I was like, how can I do this? And then I caught an idea like, oh, maybe I could just do a prosthetic. So I originally was looking to buy the prosthetics for somebody, but I
Mhm.
couldn't find anything. So then I saw another creator. He actually makes spandex with
Hmm.
like he makes spandex with like tentacles and stuff. It's insane. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my god, these people are so creative.
they are.
Like it, and there's like really like they're like tights, and they're just like you look like a freaking octopus, but they're just on your legs. It's and it look and because they use the skin tone colored,
Uh huh. Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't even look like it's tights on you. It looks like the
It's
tentacles
just your
already on.
skin. Oh wow.
I gotta send you the link too, so
Yes,
y'all.
please. I want
And
to see that.
they do horns. They do like crystallized horns. Oh my god! But they're all it's all like latex and silicone and stuff. So he did like it looked kind of like a slime, but it looked venom. I was like, and then so he showed how he did it. Like he drew it out and
Uh,
he made a mold of it, and then he put the latex. So I was like, you
that's an
sir,
idea.
you sir is a genius,
Yeah.
but I'm not doing all that. I'm not making a mold to make no, we're not doing all that. So I bought from Amazon
Uh
a
huh.
mold of like branches and
Mm-hmm.
leaves and stuff like that, and I just used the branches as the
As
vines,
of like,
and I painted them black, and that was it. I was like.
but you're like, well, with my schedule, I don't think I'll be doing that. But so let me find a little
No,
easier
no, no,
route I can go.
not even with my schedule, with my skill set. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. Maybe later on, but as of right now, I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's start off at the beginner's level.
Yeah, that's
Somebody
what
give
you
me a
have to do.
mold, and then we do it. And that's
Yeah.
what I did. And it took maybe like 3 tries to
Mm-hmm.
get them like to work. Like they didn't stick together. They didn't,
Mm-hmm.
they actually was the shape. But once I got it, I was like, oh, okay. And I did a couple of them, and then when I did it, I cut them up, and I was like, oh my god, I hope these look good. So when I put them on and I put the makeup, I was like,
I
go me.
love it. I love it. It looks amazing. It really does. It
Yeah,
looks amazing.
and it was
Now,
crazy. It was just crazy.
this question right here. What do you think? What makes a good cosplayer?
What makes a good cosplayer?
Hmm.
Guess it would be more because it's funny because now I know so many cosplayers.
Hmm.
Like it's and I could actually call a lot of them friends.
Awesome.
Not like I met a lot of them this past Friday, and I just
Hmm.
adore these people. Like, but what I found, which is it's so funny, because you would think that these people were more confident than what they are, and they're not. A lot of them are very self-conscious, very insecure, they second guess every single thing that they do, and it's like, do you see yourself? Like,
Yeah.
have you seen your work? And so people think that to be a cosplayer, you have to be, this outgoing person. You got to be secure. You got to be confident. Like about 80% of them are not that at all. I feel like to what makes a good cosplayer is not being afraid to try,
Hmm.
because that's all it takes is
Yeah.
just to try. You could be like, and when I say not be afraid is like you could still be scared of the outcome, but like
Of
not to
course.
be afraid.
That's
That's
the
what
human
courage is.
side. Yeah.
That's what courage really is. That's what
Hmm.
bravery is. It's doing something even though you're afraid of it. And I think that's what being a good cosplayer is. It's just the ability to get past your own comfort zone
Mhm.
and try something, and just, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, you learn from it, and you try it at a different way. You do it
Correct.
differently, or you do
Mhm.
something else, like completely, like you scrap that
Yeah.
idea, jump to something else. So I think that's what makes a good cosplayer. Not that, some people say, oh, the attention to detail. Who cares? Like, you
It,
can, I've seen people pay so much attention to details, but
mhm.
then when they go for a shoot, and I've actually, it's funny because I've had a lot of photographers that have, like, I had photographers like grouping up again on me, and I was the newbie.
Mhm.
Technically, I was a newbie, even though I was like
Yeah.
probably older than most of those people.
Yeah.
I was a newbie because I've never done the meetup. I've never done these big shoots
Mhm.
before. But as after we did the big group, all of a sudden I had all these photographers like coming to me. I'm like, what? And they were like, we want to take pictures of you. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, because they're like, when it's like you get so into your character, it's like
Uh-huh.
crazy. And we had to do for the Spider Verse.
Mhm.
Every single one of these people looked amazing. Everybody was different. Everybody had their own take on it. It was like you barely saw anybody exactly the same. Even though we had three Peter B. Parkers, and they were
Mhm.
dressed as Peter B. Parkers,
Yeah.
they all had a different take to it. Like the way that they acted, the way that they held themselves, like, you know. So, but everybody was amazing, right? And again, I was like the newbie. I come in, everybody thought I was a veteran. I was like, okay, right? So we had to do a heroes versus villains shot. So they had us against somebody. So I had this. She's like 20 something years old. She's like this big, the cutest thing in the world. Like I was like, oh my god, I want to I want to like adopt you. Like you're like the cutest little thing ever. She's tiny, and she's all like bubbly, and I'm like, oh, you're so cute. They're like, okay, action, and my whole face changed, and I went to like choke her. She's like, but I stood right there, and and everybody's like this, like focus into me, taking pictures, video, and she's just like, and then when they said, okay, we're done, I was like nothing happened. She's like, you are so good. I thought you were really gonna kill me. She was like, I was just like, I hope they captured my face because I know. I was like,
Oh my goodness.
she
I
was
love
like,
that.
love you. She was like, you get so into it. And then they put me with somebody else, and I was just like staring her down, and she didn't know where to put her face. And then when we finished, I'm like, hey. And she's like, you were so intense. I didn't know whether to stare back at you or run away because I thought you were really gonna kick my ass. she's like, she's like, you are so good. Like, and
Oh
my
wow.
photographers tell me that too. Like, yo, when you get into your
Mhm.
character, you're
Oh
in
yeah.
your character. Like, and when I'm Black Cat, I'm climbing on everything. Whatever I could climb on, I'm climbing. I'm like, oh, let's do this. Let's like they're like, what does she do? What does she do? I'm hanging on stuff. I'm like, and they're like, we love that. Like
Yeah.
and they said a lot of cosplayers just do like the one pose, and
Yeah.
they don't move, they don't do nothing. It's like we can't even look at what we took because you're somewhere else already.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got no time for this. I gotta
Yeah.
schedule.
Come on.
I gotta go feed my kids. I gotta go get everybody for work. Let's go.
My goodness.
But
One. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so to be a good cosplayer, you have to not be afraid.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to look foolish to get a
Mhm.
good shot. I am
Yeah.
not afraid. I will bust my ass from falling off of something. But if you get that shot, that's the money shot, right?
That
I've
is.
I've I've twisted my ankle. I fell. I've climbed on fences. I've climbed on everything you can imagine. When I did those Ezio shots,
Mhm.
I was in heels and I was climbing on concrete fences. And I was like, I was not prepared for this, but we're gonna do this anyway. But those pictures came out amazing. So I was like,
Singing.
I'm not afraid. So that's what makes it. Don't be afraid. Even if
Awesome.
it doesn't work out, you
Mhm.
learn from it, yeah, and you move on from it. But
Correct.
so it's not. how good your costume is. It's not
Hmm.
how much money you spend on it. It's not how much. It's you not being afraid to try and do what you love and what makes you happy and what you enjoy and what you think is going to bring other people joy.
Correct. Speak.
So that's what it is. I'm not about like because I see some amazing costumes. They cost
Yeah.
very little money,
You'll be shocked.
and I've seen people spend so much money, and I'm
Why? You could have
like
saved that.
I could have made that for you,
Yeah.
and you could have gave me the money, so I could have bought something.
It's true. It's true.
So that's not what it takes to be a good cosplayer, and also doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, because
Yeah.
like I said, people think I've been doing it like yes, I've been making costumes and doing
Hmm.
like my whole life, but as a cosplayer, I've only been doing it for a year, and I'm already getting a lot of hype and a lot of around me because
Uh
of
huh.
my personality, and I'm always willing to help out somebody. I'm always willing to talk to people, like, and
Yes.
that's why, some people have their nose too high up in the air that they forget that you know, there's things too.
Hmm.
It's like
Why?
you're too far up there that you can't smell your own, but it stinks too. So I think you need to,
Why do
because
we
I
do it?
that's probably one of the things I've seen for myself as like I haven't had a lot of hate
Yeah.
at all.
Don't hate
But
on her. This is my sister. I will fight for my people.
everybody know
You
I'll be
don't want
ready to
me in
fight.
the comments. I know how
You
to
don't.
read.
That's right. Because I'll be the first one too. I'll be the first one like, excuse me,
What you saying?
who you talking to? I know you're not talking to my.
I
I've
oh,
gotten I've gotten threatened because me defending my friends, not even for my own stuff,
I
for me
gotta
defending my friends.
I gotta admit admit something because I almost lost my cool yesterday when I thought this person was leaving a mean comment under my post because I had posted Happy National Coming Out Day, and the person
Oh,
had put if you're doing this in 2021, then I forgot how the person put it. That he said get real, and I
I
was
read
like.
that.
And I posted,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm confused about the post. Was this supposed to be positive? And he was like, I'm like, and he said, yeah, it's a positive. No, I'm like,
he meant that
I,
if you have to still come out, like if it's still a big thing to come out, then
yeah.
it was
I
yeah.
was like, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for his response. I said, okay, because I'm getting ready to tear into him again. But the gentleman meant well, so I'm like, okay, I do apologize. I misread. I am so sorry. And then we just started going back and forth and laughing because I have to do that constantly, especially on
Mhm.
Father's Day. Because on Father's Day, I acknowledged my mom on Father's Day. She was
As you should,
mom and dad.
as you should.
So, and I had someone last year. I always put out a PSA. I said, look, this is my mom. This is why I acknowledge on Father's Day. Do not come in my comments. If you don't like my post, just keep passing. Of course, someone's is always that one a-hole that has to pop up in my comments.
It's a
Man,
Mother's Day.
men can't just have one day. And I went off. I went off in the comments, and then I made a video about it after I went off. That I blocked him. I said,
Be like,
apparently you don't know how to read. So I'm just like,
well, for these single moms, the men have several days
yeah.
because they didn't have to do a damn thing for their children because the mother did.
And
So
like
they had a whole lot of days.
and like I always say, now if you have a single mother, she should get Mother's Day and Father's Day. If you have a single father, he should get Father's Day and Mother's Day.
Totally. If
Why
you see my
not?
post, if you see my post for Mother's Day or
Mhm.
Father's Day, I say to all the mothers and fathers who doing job of both,
That's it.
to anyone, like grandparents,
Aunts,
guardians,
cousins, whoever, they deserve
whoever
that.
it is that is taking care of that child and doing the job of both, happy Mother's Day to you. Father's
Exactly.
Day, happy Father's Day to you. And that goes for, I was like, and I say, if Father's Day, I was like, father figures. So it could be a
Yes.
teacher, a coach, any person, any male who
Hmm.
has taken the time out of their day, out of their life to
Correct.
be a good influence on you, happy Father's Day. And if you haven't had any male figures in your life and it's only been females, happy Father's Day to you
Father's Day
too,
to you.
because you have to do the job of both. I don't think
Correct.
that it should be this. I was like, you know what? If let's then get rid of both days and just have one happy
Exactly.
parent day.
And
Happy
there you
parent
go.
day.
There you
And
go.
everybody happy. You don't
Everybody.
want to do that, right? You don't want to do that because did you hear the new one? Did you hear the new one on how they want to get rid of Father's Day
Why?
because it is offensive to lesbian couples who have children.
No, I just wish them happy Father's Day.
I'm like, how is this? How is this? I was like, if I sit here and if I say Happy Father's Day to
Mhm.
a mother, what is there any difference between the lesbian couple who has a child?
That's not offensive.
How is this? But there's an actual group of lesbian women who are trying to get this done. I'm like, y'all need to stop.
What?
So y'all need. I was like, y'all need to stop. Yeah, I was like, you guys all know that I'd be always the first one to be rallying against something, but y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop because my daddy was a good daddy and he deserves a day.
Oh, I wish this was real and was stronger. Jesus.
So I was like, so then Mother's Day, because I'm always devil's advocate. Mother's Day is offensive to women who can't have children. Is it not? If a woman who cannot have a child is offensive to them, so get rid of Mother's Day because they can't have children.
God, I wish this was stronger.
But right, if that's your logic, if your logic is that it makes this offensive because
I
you
am
cannot
done.
be an actual father, then Mother's Day is offensive to women who cannot have children.
I am done.
So then just get rid of it all.
I am just over. You know what? This leads into my last question for you. It
Yes.
says, with everything that is going on in the world right now, this silly stuff right here, one of them. Do you see cosplay as a chance to step out of reality and just get into a place that gives you peace of mind?
Well, that's what it was for me when I really started doing it,
Hmm.
because like I said, I started really in April, May of the pen when we got locked down. So that was like in, I guess, what was it, 2020?
Hmm.
Because yeah, in 2020, they have double standards. Yes, baby, they do. my
Sounds like
my
his
son,
mama.
he be hearing me all the time
Like mother,
complaining
like son.
like these friends, like you need to leave my friend alone.
That's.
but but yeah, so for me that's what it was. It was like to
Mhm.
get out of my own head because I was stuck at home and we couldn't do anything. Because even I would always take my kids out somewhere on the weekends.
Mhm.
we would just like go roaming somewhere in the city and find somewhere new to be, whatever.
Yeah.
We couldn't even do that. We would literally just stuck in the house.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, let me give this a try. It'll get me out of my own head, put my hands to work, put my mind to work. Because
Mhm.
literally, like, my I'm always kicking out ideas. Like, my brain is always on the go. I have a huge list of cosplays that I haven't even done yet, but they all have music and audio for them already.
Mm.
But I haven't even done them yet. Like, but they're already. As soon as I put the costume on, I could just click, 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 and
Mhm.
ready to go. And
That's
I have
awesome.
an idea for everything. So it was a way for me, and that's how I feel like it should be for everyone. But unfortunately, you do have people who like to gatekeep and always have an opinion on everything, and they feel that their opinion is more valued than everybody else. And it's like, even when it comes to like these fanatics, where it's
Mhm.
like the fanboys and the fangirls. I usually call them fanboys because, being as a female,
Mhm.
it's always the males who want to correct me in everything, even if I'm 100% right. Like, I can literally be like, and it's word for word correct from the mouth of the creator. Because I am a female, I do not know what I'm talking about.
I'm
So
trying to
I have to
make
be
this. I'm trying to create some magic and
magically,
make it strong.
yeah. So, and it's like, you cannot be, you don't know nothing because you know you're not a white male. You don't know nothing about comics. You don't know nothing about anime. You don't know nothing about nothing, right? Okay. So when it comes to cosplay, people say the same thing, and I'm like, I've literally had to fight all the time for a lot, not even for myself,
Mhm.
because I have the fortunate skin color to pass for a lot of these cosplays. people don't realize that I am a Hispanic woman. I was like, hello. Like this ain't white girl hair. This ain't white girl hair. This is not white girl hair. You know, it's
Oh
not a
my
white girl
goodness.
nose. They know like this is the boiling pots of a whole lot of native slaves and conquerors up in here. that's
It's
and
definitely
that's why I always post it. And you see,
yeah.
I always every now and again I'd be like, listen, I will never say that I don't have no black. I, I'm, yes, I am. I was like, as a Puerto Rican woman, I have. If you looked at my grandmother's darker than you,
Yeah.
my grandmother, but yet look at me. So, I
Right.
get it. I get,
Mm-hmm.
it's and I get it from both sides because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dark enough for some people. I'm not dark. I'm too light for other people. Like that, leave me alone. Like I didn't do it for you, but for cosplay, I fortunately
Mm-hmm.
don't have to deal with that aspect because my lighter tone lets me pass for these characters.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately for everyone else who don't have the choice in their skin tone, they get the nonsense of like, this person's not black or that person's not Asian or this person's not that and blah 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 blah. I'm like,
It's not all about that. It's about you're cosplaying your favorite character. You're getting
exactly.
yeah.
It is about giving homage to something that we don't know what that character means to these people.
Mm-hmm.
That character could have saved that person's life for all we know. We don't know. People tend to forget that these characters we grew up with them,
Yep.
and we learned about these people or these characters at certain times in our lives that, as especially, when we're children, like
Mm-hmm.
we go through a lot. And we don't know, and some people more than others. And
Sure.
sometimes disappearing into the world of comics or anime or, video games, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, gives them that space to feel safe. So and as when we, especially as children, we don't see these characters as black or
No,
white
we don't.
or
We
this
just
and
see
that. We just see this character as somebody that speaks to
what they're
us
doing. Yeah.
or someone we want to be like, oh my god, like Superman. Like I want to be someone who's like just believes so much in justice because maybe they all their life they felt like they didn't have justice in their life. Maybe
Sure.
they felt weak in their life, like,
Oh,
but they want to be this person that's pretty much invincible but still fights for other people and tries to be a good person, you know so when you look at these people when they cosplay them, don't look at them as like, oh, they're trying to be something that they're not. Well, we
mm,
all are because these are all make believe characters. At the end of the day, these characters don't really exist. And I hate when people get so stuck on like, well, this is what it is. I'm like, actually, no, because it's not reality, it can
mm-hmm.
change. So at any given point, like, I'm sorry, Dragon Ball Z fans are like the worst. They're like the worst because you can't say anything bad about Goku. You can't say nothing bad about Goku.
What if I don't like Goku?
I don't like him. So I always say bad things about him. I said I'll pick a squirrel over freaking Goku. Like I don't care. That they're like, oh, he's the most powerful. I was like, no, he ain't. I was like, because all these characters that are put, I was like, you have to remember how long Dragon Ball has been out.
Yeah.
So for you to put them against a character who just came out last year or the last 5 years, they're still developing these characters. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't know how strong these characters are going to become.
Correct. Correct.
So for you to say that nobody could beat Goku, that's not necessarily true because this person has just only begun. I was like, and not for nothing, but Goku's a dumbass. He's pretty dumb. So that's why I don't like him. I don't like him because he is a dummy. I don't think anybody who is that dumb should have that much power. Like he says it himself that he's not the smartest cookie in the jar.
Oh
He
my
says this
goodness.
himself.
Poor
But
Goku.
no, I used to really love him, but I felt like because people, what they did was like what they ended up doing in his storyline
Hmm.
was they were going too much towards what the fans wanted versus what was good for his storyline, because
Oh,
the
yeah.
fans just kept wanting Goku to always win. Me, I was like, Goku gets his ass beat every time, and then all of a sudden at the last minute, and no, he beats everybody. But yo, you were getting your ass beat the whole time. And then
That's
he never
crazy.
fights by himself. He always has a whole team of people who fight with him, or he fuses with somebody, or they bring him back to life. He dies and they bring him back to life, or he gets a sensu bean and he's it's never just him,
Yeah.
and that's why I get mad that you guys are forgetting that him by himself, he's not that powerful. It took a whole team of people to make him that powerful. So if you're going by who has the strongest team, he got the strongest team. Because these people went and found the damn balls, and instead of wishing the planet to always be safe, they wished him back.
Great. Look, it's just crazy.
So so when you get people like that and
Hmm.
they put their ideas into cosplay,
Yeah.
and it's like, even Stan Lee himself said, it doesn't matter what you think. All it matters is what the creator
Yeah.
thinks. If the creator wants, he says, if somebody asks me who's going to win between the Hulk and the Spider-Man, whoever I feel is going to win at the time, I will make it happen.
Yeah.
You can't argue with me
You
about
can't.
it because I'm the
I'm
creator.
the
I will
creator. I
find a
created.
way to make it happen. So the same
Yeah.
thing for cosplay. So you say that Spider-Man's not black. Actually, there are a couple of black Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
we're not
are.
going to go there. We're not going to go there. But anyway, you say Peter Parker's not black. Okay, why do you know that? Because he took his mask off. But if you didn't take his mask off, you would not know that.
You have no idea.
You would have had no idea, right?
No idea whatsoever. But
And they never even say it. They never even
mhm,
say that Peter's black. He could be,
no,
all you know, he could be freaking Yugoslavian. Now, who the hell knows? He ain't white, white.
you never know. You never know. Now, there is one last thing that we do before we end the show. It is my segment that I call the Bank of Audacity. This is when someone has went to this bank and got loaned too much. So in other words, you need to tell me an instance where someone just had the audacity and did something or said something and just this is where you just let go.
Ooh. We're still talking about cosplay, right?
Cosplay, whatever it is. It don't have to be about cosplay. Just give an example of.
Well, I have two kind of ones, but they're like of different degrees. So like
Mhm,
the like there's an extreme, and then there's one that's like kind of like a petty kind of thing. So the audacity of the petty one is more that, someone acting friendly with you and cool with you
mhm,
when you first start out, but then when they start seeing you growing and,
mhm,
becoming more, and thinking that, oh wait, this person might become more than me, and then all of a sudden you just stop supporting them, you just stop being friendly with them, and then you have, and then but you're people forget that cosplay is, even though it's a big group, it's a small community.
yeah.
Like everybody will attend, will eventually. I met so many actual famous cosplayers on Friday that I was like, y'all here?
Yeah.
like like you're not like on the internet now, you're not like on IG, like, so like it's a small community.
Mhm,
So eventually you're going to meet up or work with people,
yeah.
and you don't have to be friends with everybody. That's not what I'm
Mhm,
saying. You don't have to be besties with everybody, but you should be cordial and you should be respectful and, be professional. So the petty one is just like, once you're cool with people until they're becoming better, and then now you're fearing that because now you feel like it's going to take out light from you, which my light will never dim your light because light does not outshine light.
give me the penny.
so the petty is so the petty part is, you have no real reason not to like me, but you're trying to recruit other people to not like me. and then those people follow them. But I never done anything to any of you. Like I actually supported you people.
I don't even know your name, and you listening to someone else.
No, not even like I did your know your name, and you and me were cool, but you're gonna listen to the other person, knowing damn well I never did anything to you, but jump on that bandwagon. Everybody knows I'm the most supportive person. I go out of my way to support you. So for you to come, like I said, you don't have to like me. You don't have to be best friends with
Hmm.
me, but don't do that. Like if you don't want
Don't.
to like me by yourself. Don't like me
Yeah,
by yourself. Don't recruit people. I will never recruit people. Like I'm not gonna be like this person, this and this and that. No, you don't
that's a
like
very
me.
that's a very sad person if you got to recruit people to jump
Exactly,
on the hate train. That means you're just a very weak individual.
exactly.
Very
And
weak
that's what the problem is. Is like I'm a
individual.
very outgoing, outspoken person,
Hmm.
and I'm okay by myself.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I'm okay by myself. I don't need a whole entourage of people to make me feel better about myself.
correct.
So
Same here.
because of that, that's people feel, intimidated by that because they can control you, they can manipulate you. So that's the petty audacity. And then the extreme audacity is coming into my DMs and trying to act tough. like I was talking about earlier about my friend who cosplays as Spider-Man. He is actually half black, half Hispanic himself, and he was cosplaying Miles Morales. So a gentleman said Spider-Man isn't black. And I'm like, well, he's not Peter Parker, he's Miles, and Miles is half black and half Hispanic. So therefore, he's playing the perfect Spider-Man for you because he's not the white one. So I don't know. Said gentleman, because I corrected him because I said he's Miles Morales and Miles Morales is half black, half Hispanic. He over to my DMs and told me to shut the F up. I'm like, oh, so you thought so now you're gonna be tough in the DMs. Why don't you come at me in the comments?
See, okay. Let me tell you how what I would have done. I would have made a whole video, and I would have how they do on TikTok and say
Mhm.
pause and read.
Yeah.
I would have attached their name and everything and say this person wasn't bold enough to say it in the comments. They came in my DMs.
I did one better. I contacted IG and their whole account got deleted.
Oh well. Goodbye. Now you got to
I was
start
like,
all
and they
over.
had like 5,000 followers. Bye.
You got to start all over now.
Bye. Start all over, Bill Bill. So yeah. So that's that. Like also because I was correct, I needed to shut up because I was correct. And then in that same sentence, another gentleman jumped
Hmm.
on and said, well, actually, Miles isn't black, he's Dominican. Well,
Wait.
actually, good sir, his father is black and his mother is Puerto Rican. So, like I said, people always want to correct the female because it's always the men. I'm like, you can't tell me nothing. Like, I mean, especially, listen, Miles Morales is pretty much the Bronx Spider Man because he ended up living in Harlem. Harlem is that close to the Bronx. Like there's
Oh,
literally like when you the train literally is the line. Like you could be at the train and be in the Bronx and Harlem at the same time. So Spider-Man is mine. Miles is my Spider-Man because for me he's the Bronx Spider-Man because he be on that line all the time. Okay, so you can't tell me nothing about him. And people want to come, they really want to argue me. I was like, yo, all you gotta do is Google it, and it'll tell you.
it's called research. Just research. That's why
Oh,
it's best to research before you come in somebody's comments.
said,
Because
oh, well, actually, Miles is from Brooklyn. I said, actually, no, Miles was born in Brooklyn, but his mama moved him and raised him in Harlem,
it's different. That's
and
like
we sip.
some people were born in Jamaica, but they was raised in New York, in Brooklyn, New
Exactly,
York. They're from Brooklyn, New York. They're not from. They're born in Jamaica, but they're
exactly.
from Brooklyn, New York.
Like if you are raised the majority of your life somewhere, that's where
Hmm.
you're from. Because that's you were born set place, but wherever you are raised is where you are from. Because that is what builds you. That is what builds your character. That's what builds your experiences. So you can't just claim someone like I usually say I'm Puerto Rican descent because
Hmm.
my parents are from Puerto Rico. They were both born and raised in Puerto Rico, but my mom was there longer than my dad. My dad was there till he was
Yeah.
5, and my mom was there till she was 10. So she was there for like half her childhood. My dad was there
Hmm.
for less of his childhood, but they were born there. I wasn't. I was born here in the Bronx.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I don't be like, oh, I'm Puerto Rican, but I know my parents are Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican descent because I was not born there. I am born here. Hi, that's my sister.
Thank you for joining. But
But yes, you're
it's
correct. It's so much. It's so much. But that is that's the Audacity bank. So that's my checkings and my savings.
oh, you got a checking, savings, you got an IRA there.
Yeah, like that's probably what is my pet peeve is someone telling me about what I know. I'm like, but I know that what? But I know this. What do you know? Like you play the video game, so you think you know everything.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
I play the video game. I watch the movies. I watch the cartoon. I read the comics. I've did research online. How much more do I have to tell you? Like, I have the encyclopedia of freaking Marvel characters. Like, what do you got? Like, that's that, and then the other one is like I said, having people try to jump on the bandwagon of hate just because of how you personally may feel about someone. I would never do that. Like unless you like, if you and me just had like a falling out, I'm not gonna be like, oh, don't follow Scorpio,
No.
don't do this, unless you actually did something wrong that I feel that it puts other people in danger,
Hmm.
like the whole like grooming and things like that. Like if I
Yeah.
see someone doing that, I'd be like, hold on, don't follow this person because this is what they do, you
Yeah.
know. Like,
I
but I'm
will.
not
I
gonna go
will.
out my way. I was
I
if
will.
you
I will warn you
Yeah,
about the
exactly,
person. But
exactly.
what I normally do is I normally do this. They're like, "Do you know this person?" Yep. Yep. I know them. And I'll be like, "I'll let you figure out for your. I'll let you talk to them and get to know
You
them
be
for
the judge.
yourself.
You'll be your judge of yourself. Yeah.
Once you get to know that person and once you experience what you experience, then once you're done, then come to me and then I'll give you my input."
Exactly. But like you experience the person how you experience them, and then that's it. But like I said, unless I it's something harmful, then I'll be like, you're not talking to this
Don't touch
person.
them.
Don't
Stay
delete it,
away from
block
them.
them. Like
Yeah.
that's it. But other than that, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be like,
Don't talk to them. Don't go over there. Or this person
I'll be
does
like,
this. They
okay.
does.
Be like, you know what? I just say just be careful with
Yeah.
the individual. Yeah, just be careful with the individual because you just never know where they're gonna land.
At all.
But that
I
happens
know
with
the
most
feeling.
people. You gotta. That's with most people, though. You gotta be careful with most people because you never know where they're going to land. Because when
People change so quickly nowadays. So it's kind of like, okay, you're here today. I don't know where you're going to be on Wednesday. So
yeah, exactly. Because when I started cosplaying, like a lot of my so-called close friends and family that I
mhm.
was always with,
Yeah.
because they, one person ended up being mad at me for whatever reason they want to be mad at me, and then they all started like making fun of me for cosplaying and saying, oh, like, she's too fat to be doing that, she's no good, she's too old to be doing that, she keeps doing the same thing. First of all, when you first start cosplaying, you're not going to have 50 billion costumes. You're going to start off with one. So don't ever let anybody, say like, oh, and some people literally only do one character
Yeah.
ever. I have done several characters in a
Hmm.
year. I've done so many characters. So, but when I first started, of course, I'm gonna have just one because I'm
Yeah.
just starting out. You dip your toes in the water first, so you could get used to the water, and then you
Of
jump in,
course.
right?
Yeah, you don't
So
submerge yourself in the first time. It's kind of
no,
crazy.
you dip it first. Like, hold on, let me get used to it, and then you go. But so those people that I was with all the time, I'm no longer really associated with most of them because, like I said, people change. People, when they see you doing for yourself and that you're happy and that you're doing good for yourself, it's like some people are only as happy as they are for you.
Yeah.
So if people aren't too happy with themselves, they're
Mhm.
never going to be happy for you and for
Yeah.
the good things that happen to you. So people have to remember that, like, people, most of the, and you know what, I'm not gonna say most, like, but there are a lot of people who are like
Mhm.
that, like, they are only as happy as far as for you, as far as their own happiness is for themselves. So if you're doing better than them, they're gonna try to knock you down. So like that whole quote was like, be careful of, the people who are laughing when you're crying and crying
Mhm.
when you're laughing.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Very true.
Because, as I because some people just love misery and they want, and misery loves company. And when you try to get out of that, all of a sudden that's when you get the people like, oh, she's changing, oh, she's acting different, she thinks she's better than everybody. I don't think I know, honey.
I'm too busy trying to be the same person I
I was
was when
like,
you met
I
me.
that's another thing,
I
like,
don't.
people
People
change.
change.
You're supposed to change. That's life. If you look at anything in life, changes.
Yeah.
Flowers, trees, bugs, everything changes. Everything goes through a metamorphosis. Nothing ever just stays the same.
The question is,
Okay?
are you willing to grow with me?
Exactly. If you're not willing to grow, then you're gonna have to
I
get cut off.
have to
You're
cut you off. I have to cut that dead branch off. I can't.
exactly.
You're
I
hindering
got
my growth.
I gotta
So
flourish. I gotta shine. I gotta remove that shade. So
that
but
is
I just
crazy.
pull the cord, like, what, the shade is in my way. No, no, the only shade I need is my sunglasses
That's
because
it.
I'm
Well, Dark Dove, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It has been a blast. If you all didn't get a chance to see the whole show, this is going to be up on my YouTube that you're watching on right now. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, which I see a lot of you are, look like you're all on YouTube, and it's going to be there for you to go back and the, rewatch later. But once again, Dark Dove, it has been a privilege and a joy. I thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate it. So this is not going to be the last. We're
oh
going to see each
no,
other again, of course.
of course.
Like I always say at the end of each show, we thank you for coming and stay
Thank
positive, but test negative. Good night.